on to 8C, consideration of accepting the labor contract agreement as negotiated with the IBEW, Public Works Supervisory Unit. Terms are the same as those negotiated earlier with the AFSCME units. 1-year contract, 1% COLA increases, $35 per month cafeteria increase, update of job description. IBEW member Copley has ratified terms as presented.
This was a real bare knuckles, behind the scenes, cigar smoking, labor contract negotiation.
Sure was.
Sure, yeah.
I'll move to approve it.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Robertson, second by Mr. Bunke. Any more comment? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion passes. Let's move on to 8D, consideration of actions regarding public works staffing as discussed at previous meetings. Number 1, consideration of accepting the appointment of Dave Lombard to fill the open position of senior maintenance. As per personnel policy, bargaining unit agreement, and following council approval, the position was posted for 5 days. Lombard meets all requirements to fill the position and is the only employee who posted an interest. Position will be a grade 5, step 7 position.
Move to approve.
I'll
Take it back?
Yep.
Motion's taken back, please talk.
just a quick question. How does this match up then with our discussion this afternoon?
I think it matches up well. If we do proceed with lead positions, the 5 to 7 grade position is where we had lined up those foreman lead type positions. So making a lateral change from senior maintenance to one of those lead positions works. The other option would be as if he wanted to become the wastewater operator, which he has sort of indicated that's really not where his thoughts lie. But if he did, that would also be more of a lateral transition over. Actually, we'd pegged that as being a grade 7, but because he doesn't have that license, the applicator and a few of the other things, he'd have to get those in order to move the next grades up. So there would still be some progression for him.
Okay.
The important thing for us is to have that sort of second in charge, and we feel that Dave exhibits that leadership and be a good fit for that.
So I now move to accept Lombard.
Second it.
Motion by Mr. Dahl, second by Mr. Hansi. Any more comment? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion passes. Number 2, consideration of approval of advertising for the position of a part-time public works employee following the standard selection process and criteria to score and rank candidates during the selection process to see attached sample.
Your Honor, this is a request just to approve for advertising, and so we would go through, advertise the position, and then conduct interviews. We would then bring a candidate or a slate of candidates to the council for final consideration. Again, based upon the discussion that we had at the workshop, we showed this roughly $29,000 increase from 2011 to 2012. I would recommend that council would authorize a portion of that for this position, not all of it. And then just as the police chief, uses his allocation and resources for his part-time officers, Jeff would do the same thing for his public works part-time.
That would be $29,000 savings, not increase, correct?
Correct. Well, yeah.
Increase in what we,
Did I say?
you said increase.
I meant decrease.
So basically though, the part-time would be mostly for snow removal and in the wintertime.
That's basically up to him, I believe.
It would be an allocation of dollars. I would recommend $20,000 that Jeff would then, if it was snow removal and it was a particularly snowy year and used more of it for that, he'd have less for cutting grass. If he wanted to make adjustments to his budget, then he could bring that to the council and we could consider that. But it would be for all of those things. It would be for cutting grass, snow removal, and then some utility work as well. I know there's a lot of water meters that need to get fixed and put in, and we would use a person for that as well.
That's two separate subjects, so posting this and the amount of money we give Jeff.
Correct. All we're asking is for posting the advertisement. I think come back.
We can come back and worry
Come
about
back
that
at a later
later.
date, but I just wanna get that information out to the council, put on the record that that's our recommendation, just so you can think about that, and if there's any concerns or
We can
questions.
sit
we
on
can
that
talk
for a
about
couple of
later.
weeks, but we can deal with the posting right now.
Correct.
If I might, it kind of makes a difference though, because if a person wants to know roughly how many hours the job's going to entail,
We'll tell them.
Jeff needs to know how many dollars he has in order to come up with the hours.
I think
And what is
the position is grade 4, step 1. We can give an hourly rate and approximate hours. So, unless the council wants to make a determination of total amount now, if you don't want to, we can wait and we'll figure out a different way to advertise the position.
Is this the old, the old position posting? Is this the one that we've always posted in the past?
This language here is for the, it's generally what the maintenance worker position does on the front page. The second page is just, the ranking or the scoring system that we have so that you can get it, say you have 10 people, you can get it down to the 3 or 4 that you want to interview or whatever. The system to
Yep,
narrow
okay.
it down, and to give veterans preference if that's there. When we hired
This is what you used when you hired John? Roger Knudsen?
we did,
Yeah.
but it was more detailed than this,
Uh-huh.
because we had a written test too. But we figured for the part-time, they didn't need to go through the written test process, because that takes a long time to go through all that.
I think there's enough information in the vacancy announcement to interest somebody.
Move to post the vacancy.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Robertson, second by Mr. Hansi. Any more comment? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes with Mr. Bunkie opposed. Let's move on to 8E, consideration of approval of all non-union full-time employees for a 1% COLA and a $35 per month cafeteria benefit increase. These figures are equitable with those that have been previously approved for wage and benefit adjustments as provided to all full-time bargaining unit employees.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Robertson, second by Mr. Hansi. How many employees does this apply to, Mr. Sarvey?
Susan, me,
Hell, you're getting a raise? You just got here.
You just got a raise too.
Jay.
this would only be at my anniversary, assuming that I make it to that point.
Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion passes. Let's move on to 8F, consideration of approving the applications for 2012 on-sale and Sunday liquor licenses, 3.2 off-sale license, and tobacco licenses, contingent upon appropriate application forms, state forms, and insurance certifications being filed at the city clerk's office. See attached license renewal list.
When do these have to be in by?
They were supposed to have it into me by the end of last week, but some of them haven't gotten it in, but,
Is that why there's no X's?
right. But I have to, we have till the end of the year to get it, or like the last week of the month to get it up to the state. We have forms, we have to send it back up to the state, so.
Do we want to